Let's practice using the quadratic formula to help us solve this quadratic. The quadratic formula is written here in green. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There are songs out there, there are ways to memorize the quadratic formula. And I suggest you figure out what works best for you because this formula will always work. However, in my pink equation, I don't have a quadratic yet. It's not perfect. This 12 needs to be moved. I need my quadratic to equal 0. 2x squared minus 5x minus 12 equals to 0. Now I start to identify what all of these letters from the quadratic formula are going to be. This becomes substitution. And in fact, I'd suggest you have a graphing calculator handy because some of these computations can get quite large and you want to make sure you get the math correct. The first value is a, so that's a 2. B is always in the middle, and sometimes b is negative. Be mindful of that. And c is allowed to be negative. So now I'm going to start placing them into the formula. Negative, negative b. Plus or minus. Whenever you square something, make sure you use parentheses. Minus 4, a is 2, c is also negative. So a lot of parentheses can be utilized writing out the quadratic formula. All divided by 2 times 2. This inside part is called the discriminant. And I'm going to use my calculator to make sure I get this inside value correct. Negative 5 squared minus 4, a is 2, c is negative 12. Simplifies to 121. Double negative out front, also allowed to simplify into 5. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, square root of 21, or 121. The square root of 121, that's a perfect square. That's going to simplify into 11. If you're unsure of that, you could always check your calculator. But I also know that 121 is a perfect square, meaning that discriminant should allow me to get 2 answers that are going to be rational, meaning they're going to simplify into nice fractions. Now let's see if that's true. So now this becomes 5 plus or minus 11 over 4. I have the 5 plus the 11, which is 16 over 4. And I have 5 minus 11, which is negative 6 over 4. 2 answers written as fractions. I suggest you simplify them. So one answer, remember we were solving for x. One answer is 16 over 4, which is 4. The next answer is negative 3 halves. 2 answers when it comes to quadratics. I got those 2 answers. What that says is that if I place a 4 here, I should get 0. I place a negative 3 halves here, negative 3 halves here, I should get a 0. These are the x-intercepts. They can be written as roots. A lot of information can come from using the quadratic formula to get my final answers, what could also help me graph this picture if that was asked. This information can really help me with the picture. So start to memorize the quadratic formula. Please make sure you use parentheses in the correct spot. Use your trusty calculator. If you're unsure of any of the math, make sure we get the math correct. Simplify as far down as you go. Make sure you get those 2 answers on your final step.